Mark worked in a secret laboratory that had super strict rules. Once, he got so engrossed in his experiments that he missed the end of the working day. It meant he got locked inside and could only get out of the building through one of 3 doors. But one exit was guarded by a bear. Near the second one, a large and furious dog was pacing on a leash, and the last door was blocked by an armed security guard who would never go against the rules. Which door should Mark choose to spend the night at home? Mark should opt for the first door. Yeah, the bear looks threatening, but it's sleeping. So if Mark is quiet enough, there's a chance he'll slip past the animal unnoticed. 3 waitresses are working at a restaurant serving drinks and food, but one of them is actually a thief. Can you figure out which one it is? It's that girl in the middle. Have you paid attention to her handbag? It's Dior. Who would have been wearing a designer bag while working in a cafe? She must have stolen it a few minutes ago. Look at these people taking part in a business meeting. They look elegant and well off, but one of them is actually an undercover police officer. Can you spot them? It's this man on the right. Have you noticed his old sneakers? That's a weird choice of footwear for a business meeting. These 2 women look like regular prisoners minding their own business, but one of them is actually a werewolf in disguise. Can you figure out which one it is? It's the girl on the left. Have you noticed claw marks on the wall of her cell? She must have felt restless at one point. Uh-oh. 3 people are having a meal in a cafe. All of them seem to be regular customers, right? But what if I tell you that one of them is actually a vampire? Try to spot this monster before they start their hunt. It's that woman on the right. Look, the girl on the left is eating pizza with garlic, so she can't be a vampire. The man in the middle is reflected in the mirror hanging on the wall behind his back, so it leaves us with the woman on the right. Damien went on a long-awaited sea cruise. At first, everything was going great, but then a young girl, Alex, who was also on the cruise, disappeared. The ship immediately changed course and stopped at a port. Police officers arrived and questioned the passengers. After the interrogation, they had 3 suspects. When Damien looked at them attentively, he realized who was behind the girl's disappearance right away. Can you figure it out too? It's that woman on the right. She's got Alex's suitcase. The girl had it at the beginning of the journey, plus her name is on the handle. A young geography teacher disappeared on the first day of school. The police have 3 suspects: the headmaster, the PE teacher, and the janitor. Look at these people attentively and find the culprit. The janitor is behind the geography teacher's disappearance. Have you noticed a globe in his closet? This student dormitory has very strict rules of being absent after lights out. But look at this room. One of its inhabitants managed to sneak out to attend a party and get back. Who's the rule breaker? It's this guy on the left. Have you noticed a glow stick bracelet on his hand? Look at these 3 zombies. One of them is not as bad as it seems. Can you figure out which zombie isn't dangerous? The zombie on the left is petting a dog. He seems to love animals. He can't be dangerous. 3 museum guards were protecting the most expensive vase in history. It was kept in a vault used to store the most precious exhibits, but all the security measures didn't help, and the vase got stolen. Since no one entered the vault or left it, the police concluded that the thief was one of the guards. Look at this security footage and say which guard is the criminal. It's the third guard. In the footage, he didn't move even once, which is impossible for a breathing human. He must have messed with the footage by altering the recording of himself. David moved to a small town and decided to get a tattoo to celebrate this new stage of his life. There were just 2 tattoo parlors in the town. One was dark and gloomy. The equipment was old, and the tattoo artist himself had a sloppy tattoo on his back. The second parlor was bright. The equipment was shiny, and the tattoo artist had a beautiful, skillfully made tattoo on his back. Strangely, David chose the first tattoo parlor. Why? There are only 2 tattoo artists in town, and they couldn't tattoo their own backs. It means they gave tattoos to each other. If you compare their works, you'll immediately see that, despite his old equipment and gloomy atmosphere in his parlor, the first tattoo artist is much more skilled. A security guard at a supermarket found a lost wallet. After he made an announcement, 2 guys appeared, each of them claiming the wallet was his. The guard looked at them and gave the wallet to the taller guy. Why did he do that? Look, his belt is in exactly the same style and made of exactly the same material as the wallet. It must have been a set. The wallet and the belt were sold together. Alice got lost in the woods. After wandering for a while, she saw a mysterious castle. When she entered it, the owner of the castle immediately showed up. He made an offer. Alice could answer his question and he would show her the way home before midnight. But if she lost, she would stay in the castle forever. Alice agreed. There were 4 mirrors on the walls. Each mirror had a reflection of some mystical creature: a dragon, a vampire, a mermaid, and a zombie. Alice needed to figure out which reflection wasn't real. Can you help her? It's the vampire. Do you remember that these creatures aren't reflected in mirrors? Michael was getting ready for a long-awaited date, but when he arrived, he was shocked to see 2 identical girls. They both claimed to be his date. Can you help the guy figure out which girl is an impostor? The girl on the right isn't human. Have you noticed that she has 2 left feet? A police officer claims that one of the suspects she's detained is a werewolf. Can you figure out which of them isn't human? The police officer herself is a werewolf. Look at her hands. She actually has not nails, but claws. Both of these women claim to be this kid's mother, but one of them's lying. Think hard and expose the fake mom. The lady on the left has the same hair and eye color as the kid, but the second one has 2 moles in the same spots as the child. Plus, she's wearing a bracelet depicting a baby. In the magic country of Narnia, all animals are intelligent and rational. You're watching 10 lions and a sheep. If you get distracted, a lion can eat a sheep. What lions don't know is that later, the one that has eaten a sheep will turn into a sheep itself. In this case, the rest of the lions will eat it. If you leave this company alone for some time, how many lions and sheep will you find when you come back? When you return, there will be 9 lions and 1 sheep. The main thing here is that all the animals are rational. Once the lion eats the sheep and turns into a sheep itself, the rest of the lions will understand the consequences and prefer to stay in the safety of their natural form.
Look at these prisoners. Which of them is going to escape? A small hint. Try to think outside the box. It's the police officer next to them who's going to escape. It's actually a prisoner in disguise. Have you noticed that piece of orange inmate shirt sticking from under his uniform jacket? Look at these people. They have got into a trap, and only a miracle can save them. They're hanging upside down in the air with their legs tied. On the ground, under the redhead girl, venomous snakes are slithering. Under the head of the guy, a fire is burning. And on the ground, under the blonde girl, there are a couple of aggressive scorpions. Who is the only one that can escape in this situation? The only one that can escape is the person filming all this situation. The rest seem to be doomed without some extra help. Maria works as a teaching assistant at a college. One day, she is assigned the task of looking after a group of students who are writing an exam. Maria is sure some of them are going to cheat, so she's extra attentive. And her effort pays off in the middle of the exam. She notices a student who's cheating. Can you figure out who it is too? It's that girl in the back of the classroom. She has the answers written on her leg. Look at these people very attentively. One of them is a millionaire. Take a few minutes to guess which one it is. While the person on the right appears to be enjoying a luxurious lifestyle, he might simply be pretending to be wealthy. The person on the left, with his tattered clothing and sad expression, is unlikely to be a millionaire. The person in the middle, wearing a nice suit and holding a briefcase, might be a millionaire or at least a successful businessman or entrepreneur. But look at the barista. In his pocket, there's a car key to one of the most expensive cars in the world, McLaren. He must be that millionaire, and this beach club is likely to be just a hobby. Look at these 2 watches very attentively. Can you figure out which of them is real and which is just a toy? The watch on the left is a toy. Look at its mean-at hand. It's too long and won't be able to pass all the way around the watch face. You're trapped in a castle far away from any town or city. You can actually escape by choosing the right path. But which one can lead you to freedom? These 3 paths look extremely dangerous. Spikes, lava, and even crocodiles. Ugh, scary! But have you noticed that 4th, almost unnoticeable path on the left? It's covered with grass almost completely, but it doesn't mean you can't follow it and get out of that creepy neighborhood. In a small village, there were 3 people who were suspected of being werewolves. One night, the village held a meeting to decide which one of them was a monster. Suspect A had long, sharp fingernails and was known for being able to run extremely fast. Suspect B had long, sharp teeth and was famous for being able to see in the dark. And Suspect C had wild, unkempt hair and could jump extremely high. Can you figure out which of the suspects is the werewolf? It's Suspect B. Long, sharp teeth and being able to see in the dark are both typical characteristics of werewolves. The other suspects have unusual traits as well, but they are not necessarily associated with werewolves. 4 friends went for a walk in a forest. People said an evil wizard lived there. The young people didn't believe those rumors, but when they were in the middle of the forest, a wall of fire blocked their way. Look at the things the friends have, what they can use to put out the fire. Well, they could probably use their water bottles to get some water from that puddle. But even combined, their efforts wouldn't be enough to put out such a large fire. The hose is useless since it's not attached to anything. The friends should opt for this spade and use soil to put the fire out. You get lost in a forest. It's getting dark and it starts raining. You spot a pretty large cave and hide inside. There are 3 tunnels in front of you. The first tunnel is full of hungry crocodiles. In the second tunnel, an unfriendly lion lives. And the third tunnel leads into the crater of an active volcano. Which tunnel should you choose? All options sound really bad. You should turn around and leave the cave. Look at these 3 girls washing off sea salt after swimming in the ocean. All of them look pretty normal, but one of them is actually a mermaid. Which one is it? It's the girl in the middle. If you look more closely, you'll notice that she's just faking and not letting her skin and hair get wet. While walking in the mountains, you hear a deafening noise. It's a landslide. You end up blocked in a cave. You see these tunnels in front of you. You're shocked to discover that a fire-breathing dragon is guarding the first passage. The second passage is almost completely blocked by poisonous vines growing there. And in the third tunnel, you can see the red eyes of very hungry wolves. What should you do? Have you spotted that little opening in the wall of the cave? Over there, on the left. You can see a tiny part of a starry sky through it. Avoid the tunnels altogether and try to squeeze through this hole. Jacob and Mark decided to go on a camping trip. Look at the things they're going to take with them and try to figure out what they should leave at home. To crack this riddle, you need to think outside the box. Look, a tent, game, rice, lamp. All these words consist of 4 letters. But a chair? This word has 5 letters. The friends should leave it at home. Mark came to visit his girlfriend, who lived on the other side of the town. While he was inside her house having dinner, his bike got stolen. Mark called the police. He said that he'd seen that his bike had been taken by Larry, his girlfriend's ex. The police arrived and questioned Larry. The guy answered that he couldn't have taken the bike since he'd been busy painting his fence and had just finished. The detectives believed him. Can you figure out why? Larry's story seems to be true. There's fresh paint on the grass by the fence, which proves that the guy indeed painted it recently. This granny claims the nurse steals her pills, but the nurse says it's a ridiculous accusation. Can you tell who's lying? Pay attention to the nurse's head. She's wearing not a hat. It's a container with pills. So, the granny is right. She doesn't get her pills because the nurse takes them. Olivia's husband was a hunter. Once, he went on a hunting trip for 3 days. But when he came back home, he brought nothing. The next day, Olivia went to a cafe with several friends. They shared their latest news. Donna said, "I've just bought a new apartment. I'm looking for a designer now to help me decorate it." Sarah boasted, My boyfriend gave me this bracelet for my birthday. Nina said, and I went skiing in the Alps. It was a fantastic trip, except for those awful mosquitoes. Olivia left the cafe in tears. She was now sure her husband was cheating on her with one of her friends. Can you figure out which girl is her husband's lover? Nina. For one thing, getting bitten by mosquitoes in the Alps while skiing is highly unlikely. Plus, the bites on her face and body match those Olivia's husband has. They must have been together. Miss Maple met her friend Louisa, and the woman told her she'd seen her daughter, who was supposed to be getting ready for an important exam, in the mall with her boyfriend. Miss Maple came home and asked her daughter whether she had gone to the mall. The girl claimed she had spent the whole day at home, studying. Miss Maple believed her. Why? Do you see that course book on the girl's table? It's open in the middle. Plus, there are lots of notes next to the book. And look at those bags under the student's eyes. She must have indeed been studying.
I've got a bunch of new riddles for you, oh great detective. Concentrate and crack them all like nuts. Look at this picture very attentively. One of these people attacked the artist, but can you figure out who it was? The artist started writing the letter K and then another letter, but he didn't have time to finish it. It seems to be an I, so the culprit could be Kitty. But at the same time, it also looks as if the artist simply didn't have time to finish the letter L, which is another letter that can be confused with I. So, if the injured man tried to write the lower part of the letter L but didn't have enough time to finish it, it could easily be Claude, who attacked him. What do you think? Was it Claude or Kitty? Write your answer in the comments. These people seem to be rather strange, but only one of them is a real vampire. Who is it? All of them are drinking something red, but it might be just some pomegranate juice. The girl on the left has a blood red streak next to her mouth, but it might just be smudged lipstick. The man has weird teeth, but they could be artificial. As for the woman on the right, she must be the vampire. Have you noticed that she doesn't have a reflection in the mirror? This couple is about to get married. What a happy event. But not everything is rainbows and butterflies here. One of the people in the picture is actually an alien. Have you spotted this guest from another planet? It's the bride herself. Look, she's got 3 arms. Continuing with the topic of extraterrestrial visitors, you need to find an alien among these athletes. Can you spot anything unusual about them? The guy on the left must be an alien. He's got 2 left hands. Yikes. Creepy. Now this guy seems to be lost and confused. There are 2 doors in front of him, and both ladies seem friendly. But one of the doors isn't safe to enter. Which one is it? It's the door on the left. This glamorous lady is offering the guy a ride, but do you see that strange decor in her apartment? Especially the skull? At the same time, the second woman looks quite disheveled. But despite her messy appearance, offering food might just be a kind gesture. In any case, a ride with a stranger holds more risk than a simple hamburger. Look at these bathrooms very attentively. Your task is to figure out which of them belongs to a zombie. Well, both bathrooms look kinda disgusting, but a real zombie leaves on the left. Do you see that glass standing on the sink in the left room? The zombie keeps his fingers there. Ugh. We've got 3 Miss School contestants here. They look pretty and all, but one of them is actually dangerous. Which one is it? It's the girl in the pink dress. There's blood on her crown. Another day, another monster. Look at these people attentively and try to figure out which of them is a werewolf. The man on the left is just wearing a mask. It's quite obvious. The lady in the middle might have had some kind of an accident, hence the bizarre blue spots on her body. But the man on the right is literally covered with fur, which he is trying to hide with his clothes, but his true nature can still be spotted. A crazy scientist captured Mark and locked him in his lab to use the guy for his experiments. Luckily, the guy managed to get out of the lab, taking along 3 pills. Each of them worked for 10 seconds. The green pill could provide him with regeneration abilities. The red pill could allow him to become invisible. And the blue pill provided him with the ability to fly. To get out of there, Mark had to pass through 3 rooms. One was guarded by a vampire, the second one was protected by a werewolf, and the third one hosted a maniac with a chainsaw. Which pill should Mark take to pass through each room? Mark needs to take the invisibility pill to get past the vampire, the pill enabling him to fly to get past the werewolf, and the regeneration pill to escape the chainsaw. Simon was stuck at a gas station 50 miles away from the city. His car was broken and could be repaired only by the end of the day. Luckily, there were 3 drivers who were ready to offer him a ride to the city. Look at these people and try to understand which car is safe. The driver in the red car is actually a criminal. The police have been looking for the vehicle he's driving. It must have been stolen. The man in the yellow car must be a criminal too, since he is depicted on the wanted poster on the wall. Only that granny in the blue car is safe to ride with. Maria Walker, a rich businesswoman, collected ancient pieces of art. One day, she managed to buy a priceless Chinese figurine. Maria locked it in a safe in her office and went home. But the next morning, the figurine was gone. Police have 3 suspects, all of them Miss Walker's subordinates. The detective asked each of them if they'd taken the figurine from the safe. Beverly said she hadn't been to the office since Monday. Ralph said that he didn't even know how to open safes and wasn't interested in Chinese art. And Vincent admitted that he'd been to Miss Walker's office after her departure, but he only took some documents he needed. Have you understood who the thief was? It was Ralph. Otherwise, how would he know the figurine was Chinese? Mary was a college teacher. It was the beginning of a new school year and 3 new students joined the class. When Mary saw them, she immediately realized something was off about one of them. What did she notice? The guy in the middle doesn't have a shadow. Logan worked as a security officer on a small cruise ship. One day, during a severe storm, he found Mr. Lewis lying on the deck. When the man came to his senses, he said someone had hit him on the head and had taken his wallet. Logan had 3 suspects. He visited them in their cabins. Linda told him she was feeling queasy because of seasickness. She couldn't even get up from her bed. Denise said she'd been watching a movie on her smartphone. And Philip said he'd been writing a letter to his wife. Logan immediately understood who had hit Mr. Lewis. Do you know? It was Philip. Look at his letter. The handwriting is immaculate. But it's impossible to write so accurately during a storm. Look at these elderly ladies. Both of them have gone out for a walk. At first glance, they seem totally normal. But one of them is actually planning something bad. Can you figure out which granny it is? It's the granny on the right. She's got a file hidden in her knitting basket. Look at this explorer. He seems to be in a tough situation. There are 4 tunnels in front of him. The first one seems to be freezing cold, with some perilous-looking icicles hanging over the entrance. The second tunnel looks outright creepy. A giant shark is in the third tunnel, and the fourth pass is covered with molten lava. Where should our explorer go? He should opt for the first tunnel. Have you noticed a rather well-trodden track there? So this way can't be too dangerous. Kenneth was hungry. He found a nice diner that served burgers and bought one. After a waiter brought him his order, Kenneth went to the bathroom to wash his hands. But when he came back, his burger was gone. The guy looked around the diner and understood who had taken his lunch. Can you figure it out? It's this young woman. A dog is sitting at her feet and sniffing the air. If she was just drinking coffee, which is what she's pretending to do, the dog wouldn't be so interested in her.
So, our guy James here had passed all the first stages of the entrance exam for the Superhero Training Academy. For the final stage, the committee was going to test if he was able to determine who to save first in urgent situations. So they showed him a few images and wanted him to decide who was really in danger. Can you help him out? Here are the first 2. In the second image, the train is not moving and the lights are not on. That means the man can cross without any danger. As for the woman taking a bath and trying to dry her hair, well, it's not wise to use electrical stuff in the bathtub, so James should save her first. Now take a look at this footage of 2 people falling from a cliff. Can you help James detect who is in real danger here? The guy holding the umbrella might appear to be falling faster than the guy holding the plastic bag. However, he's going to fall right into the water, whereas there is a sharp rock right below the plastic bag guy. So, in a situation like this, James should save him first. The last image was going to determine whether James would be accepted or not. Who should be saved first? The lady absorbed in her phone in the second image is safe, because even though the traffic looks busy, the lights show a clear walk signal and cars are stopped. But the man in the first image has left a metal spoon in the microwave that he's about to turn on. That's a big no-no. James finally got accepted into Superhero Training Academy. But there, he was not going to use his real name. He needed to pick a superhero name for himself. Can you guess what his name is? These emojis might help. His superhero name is Thunderbolt Titan. Ooh. It was time to graduate. At the ceremony, the headmaster of the academy wanted to reward Thunderbolt Titan for finishing first in his class. He presented him with a mysterious chest containing a puzzle. Inside awaited a new suit, a cloak, and a high-tech gadget, but only if Thunderbolt Titan could crack the code. Can you help him solve the puzzle and claim his rewards? Look at the number sequence. What comes next? The correct answer is 7238. You just have to move the last number to the front. One day when Thunderbolt Titan was at home, somebody slid a note under his door. But it was encrypted with a strange number sequence. And below the numbers, there was a hint. Think about your device. Can you help decode the mysterious message? To decode this number sequence, we use a mobile phone keypad, as the hint suggests, where each number pair represents a letter. The first digit indicates the keypad number, and the second digit selects the letter's position on that key. For instance, 42 translates to H because 4 corresponds to the GHI button, and pressing on it 2 times will give you H. Following this method, the fully decoded message is "Help now." A villain from the multiverse had brought all kinds of creatures to planet Earth, and the Protectors League needed Thunderbolt Titan's help to find and capture them before they unleashed chaos. The first monster they were searching for was a zombie, and the Protectors League had 3 suspects. Take a look at them and help Thunderbolt Titan successfully complete his first mission. The first person looks all dirty, but she was probably working in the garden. The second lady's grocery bag is leaking juice, not blood. So the third person must be the zombie, because the living don't wear hospital tags on their ankles. The second creature the Protectors League was searching for was an extraterrestrial being. Take a look at their 2 suspects. Who is the one hiding from the League? Look at Gary M's hospital patient chart. It says his fever is 24.5 degrees Celsius. A human can't have such a low body temperature. He must be the creature. Lastly, the League suspected that a robot was pretending to be a human at a college campus. They spotted 3 students who were acting suspiciously. Can you help Thunderbolt Titan figure out who the robot is? You might think it's obvious that the third student is a robot, but he only has a super realistic-looking robot tattoo on his arm. The first student has a blinking red light inside his shirt's pocket, but that's just a camera. On the other hand, the second student has a USB port on one of her fingers. She must be the robot. To the Protectors League's surprise, there was a 4th monster who had escaped their attention. And at the headquarters, they got an emergency alarm that it was creating mayhem at the amusement park. Thunderbolt Titan immediately rushed there. Upon arrival, he found that the creature's actions had led to a malfunction on the roller coaster ride, causing 3 passengers to be stranded dangerously. Which one should Thunderbolt Titan save first? The second guy will fall first because he's only holding on with one hand, which is actually pretty difficult to do for an extended period of time. Therefore, Thunderbolt Titan should first save him. Thunderbolt Titan had successfully completed his first 2 missions. However, the villain was not happy that he ruined his evil plans. So he captured him and locked him in a room with no exits. There was only a note that said, "Answer this riddle and you might escape." What can fill a room but takes up no space? The answer is light. Even though Thunderbolt Titan answered the riddle correctly, nothing happened. The villain had tricked him. He had to do something, so he used his superpowers to open 3 portals for himself. However, he didn't have great control over his magical portal power yet. So, all the portals led to tricky places. The first one opened to a jungle full of all kinds of wild animals. The second one opened into the middle of a desert planet, and the third one opened to the edge of a steep, rocky hill. Which one should he choose? Remember the roller coaster mission? Thunderbolt Titan can fly, so he can choose the third portal and fly to safety from the steep hill. One night, Thunderbolt Titan was patrolling the city when he received a distress call. A woman had been attacked by a purse snatcher, and during the struggle, she fell and hit her head. She was now in the hospital room without her bag and her memory. The police officer informed Thunderbolt Titan that there were 3 men outside her door, all claiming to be her husband. Can you help Thunderbolt Titan figure out who is telling the truth? The purse snatcher might have taken her bag, but he didn't take her necklace. Look, she has an L letter pendant. And the first guy here has a neck tattoo that says Liz. He must be her husband. Thunderbolt Titan got an emergency alarm call from the Antarctica Animals Research Center. One of their beloved penguins had been stolen, and they needed his help to find the thief. After using his superhero senses, he narrowed the suspects to 3. Take a look at them. Can you figure out who stole the penguin? The second lady looks like she's hiding something under her skirt, but she's just pregnant. The third guy's backpack looks bulky, but see the flight tag attached to it? That's just his carry-on. But the first guy is hiding raw fish inside his tote bag. That must be to feed the penguin, so he's the thief. During a championship race, one of the cars was suspected of being sabotaged. Thunderbolt Titan was called to the scene to help identify which one with his scanning power. Can you figure it out before him? Take a look at the rear wheel of car 2. It's slightly wobbling, even though the car is stationary. Uh-oh.
Hey, the internet's best detective. Today, I've got a bunch of pretty tough riddles. Let's try to crack them together. Look at these scales attentively. Our task is to figure out what should be placed on the bottom left scale. Okay, let's see. Well, obviously, we need to compare the blue ball to the balls of other colors. The heaviest one here is the red ball. We can see that 2 blue balls equal 1 purple and 1 yellow ball. But at the same time, 1 purple ball equals a yellow and a blue ball. Ugh, this makes me so confused. Have you found the answer yet? Apparently, to balance 1 blue ball, we need 2 yellow balls. It makes sense, I guess. Have you guessed right? The next picture, this time, we need to figure out what number should replace the question mark. This riddle seems to be a bit easier. I'd pair these stamps according to their colours. But then what? Do you have any ideas? What does the answer tell us? The sum of the stamps of the same colour combinations needs to equal 10. 1 plus 9, 10 plus 0, 3 plus 7. Then the missing number is 4. 6 plus 4 is 10. We've got 6 fireworks and each of them contains 6 stars. Can you figure out which firework hasn't been launched completely, knowing that each releases 1, 2, and 3 stars of the corresponding colour? It sounds a bit confusing. I can only make guesses here. What do you think? Okay, let's see. There's a total of 9 yellow stars in the fireworks, but there are just 6 of them in the air. After doing math, we can see that 3 stars haven't been launched yet, so it must be firework C. Mike went hiking in the mountains and got lost. He decided to spend the night in a cave, but it was too cold near the entrance, and the guy decided to go further. Soon, he saw 4 tunnels. In one, a family of venomous snakes lived. In the second one, there were ravenous wolves. And the entrance to the third tunnel was blocked by poisoned apples. Which tunnel is the least dangerous? I wouldn't want to deal with hungry wolves. Venomous snakes don't sound like great company either. So, perhaps apples are the safest option. Yep, that's right. After all, Mike doesn't have to eat them. Now, it's time to concentrate. We need to figure out which butterfly will be the first to reach the flower. Let's see. It seems to me that butterfly D has the highest chances of getting to the flower. And what do you think? And the answer is, holy macaroni, I was wrong. The answer is actually butterfly B. To crack this riddle, we need to be very, very attentive. Now, if we move the dice to the square marked with the red arrow, what will the number on the top be? Okay, let me just grab some paper and a pen. Hopefully, it'll help me figure out the answer. The sum of the opposite faces of a dice is always 7. This knowledge will definitely help us. I believe I've cracked this riddle. How about you? The answer is 3, since the face at the bottom is going to have 4 pips. Now, we need to figure out which glass will be the first to fill. Well, there aren't too many, so I don't think it's going to be too hard. And the correct answer is glass 5. Your first instinct might have been to say that it's glass 6, but look, the pipe leading from the first glass to glass 2 is actually blocked. The water won't be able to flow there. So, after eliminating the option with closed pipes, we can see that glass 5 will fill first. Now, look at this unusual asymmetric construction. Our task is to figure out what it'll look like if we glance at it from the spot marked with an orange dot. I think we need to move step by step. Let's start at the orange spot and look at the blocks. There are 4 of them at the base. Then, there are 2 of them on the right. We can exclude option C, OK, the next floor, and there's just 1 block on the right there. So, it must be option D. Right, that's correct. There's a power outage in the city. Your task is to help turn the lights on by choosing the right switch. Do you think you can do it? I'm personally not so sure about myself. The whole thing seems too tangled. Maybe it's this blue switch? Let's see. The wire goes here, then here. I've lost it. Are you more attentive? The answer is the yellow switch. Its wire goes directly to the light bulb. Wow, that was tough. These scooters are all running out of gas. We must help them find the shortest possible way to get to the gas station in the middle of this maze. I guess to solve this riddle, we need to focus hard and be very attentive. Okay. So, if we follow the paths, we'll see that only Scooter B has a chance to reach the gas station. Other roads are blocked. If you didn't figure out the answer to the previous riddle, here's your chance to redeem yourself. Which glass will fill with milk faster than the others? It could be glass 7, but it's impossible. The way is blocked there, see? 5 and 6 can be ruled out for the same reason. Now, the question is, 2 or 3? What do you think? The connection with glass 3 is located lower than the connection with glass 2. It means that glass 3 will fill faster. Imagine getting caught in a flash flood. Luckily, you managed to take shelter in a multi-story building. Now, you need to get to the roof as fast as possible. A rescue helicopter will be waiting for you there, but you only have 5 minutes. What's the fastest way to reach the roof? I won't be solving this riddle. After all, it's you who needs to escape a flash flood, not me. So, what's your bet? To get help as fast as possible, you need to follow this path. Now, this task is quite tricky. We need to find the missing part for each building. The longer I look at it, the more it resembles Tetris. Don't you think so? Anyway, let's see. So, Building 1, C, Building 2, D, Building 3, A, and Building 4, B. Did you get it right? How about this? How fast can you figure out which pit stop the car will reach? We need to track the road very carefully. So, the car can go here, then here, turn here, and the answer is pit stop C. These lovely dogs are hungry. Maybe they could drink some milk? What do you think? Which pooch will get its milk first? By now, we already know the drill. We need to examine the picture very attentively to see if any pipes are blocked. Aha! The blockage is here. And here. If you've figured out that only dog 2 will get its meal, congrats! See this awesome bright Lego tower? Your task is to understand how many blocks it is made of. Remember to count other blocks too, not only those seen in the image. Okay, so there are 5 at the bottom, 3 in the second row, and 1 at the top. In total, 9 blocks. Great job!